and welcome back to our next episode, where the central discussion will be our cryptocurrency recommendation.
Today we'll be talking about Tezos, our cryptocurrency recommendation, what its use case is, why we have such belief on the long-term potential, and why now is the right time to invest in Tezos. We want to talk about the current market dip as well, and why Russia are causing shockwaves in the stock and crypto market. But before we go into that discussion, we also want to talk you through what self-defined rules that we have to bring you these stock and crypto picks, so you can get a bit more of transparency from us.
Before we get into that, if you would like to see more like this, hit that subscribe button and remember to click the bell to get alerts when we make a new video.
So before we release our crypto and stock picks, we have 3 key principles where the answer needs to be yes for us to actually pick the cryptocurrency or the stock.
Can the asset 10 times value in the next 5 years?
Yeah, so first we look at whether our asset has a 10x or tenfold potential in the next 5 years, including the staking APR that the asset may bring, so if it's a crypto. So this means the crypto and stock picks that we pick are on the higher risk side of the risk spectrum, which is why it's high risk, but the principal reward will also be higher over the long term if we have a diversified set of risky assets.
Is it likely the use case will still make sense in 5 years' time?
Yeah, so that's our second rule. Will the use case still make sense in 5 years' time? So, for example, one of the questions we may have asked ourselves is, before we picked Chili's, do we think that cryptocurrency can grow large enough and still be popular in 5 years' time for it to be worth investing right now? And we think that something like Chili's can be maintained in 5 years' time. We think the sporting industry will be even stronger in 5 years' time, and we think that will be used by more people who watch sports. So that's why we picked Chili's, because we thought it had that long-term potential. On the other hand, something like all stocks, we don't think there'll be a big long-term potential for those, because we are moving to electric cars, and therefore we think actually the use case shrinks for that. So that's an example of something which we wouldn't invest in because it doesn't have that long-term potential.
So will the team or project be able to innovate further?
Yeah, so that's our third criteria. So lastly, we want to know if the team or project has had enough desire and room to innovate, or if it's not a team, will the actual project innovate, or has space to innovate in the future? So the team's aspiration and track record is key here. So one example is Popsicle Finance, and we saw that they had a clear plan laid out for the future, and the team had a track record of innovating, and therefore that's why we recommended this. Of course, right now, Popsicle Finance isn't doing too well, but we go in with the idea of innovation.
There's of course several other factors we consider, but if we can't tick these 3 off, then the recommendation is a no-go. So back to the cryptocurrency we are recommending. What is Tezos? The website itself depicts this well in saying Tezos is an open source platform for assets and applications that can evolve by upgrading itself. Stakeholders govern upgrades to the core protocol, including upgrades to the amendment process itself.
Yeah, so the most well-known example of an open source blockchain cryptocurrency is Ethereum. However, Tezos may well be a better alternative, and this will become clearer when we go through the benefits of Tezos. So like Ethereum, people can use the Tezos blockchain to create DeFi tokens and NFTs, for example. But Tezos essentially also promotes evolution without the destruction of the cryptocurrency, or without having the need to fork it out. So it has a self-amendment feature, which we really like about it.
People who hold and stake can vote on change, and you can unstake at any time without a lag period. Tezos wants to solve all the blockchain problems faced by other DeFi cryptocurrencies, evolve the space and act as a DeFi revolution.
Yeah, so Tezos is actually very energy efficient, as it's based on a proof of stake concept rather than a proof of work concept. A proof of stake concept is when you need to stake your tokens in order to vote for a change on the cryptocurrency platform. So that's what Tezos has. Whereas a proof of work concept, which is what something like Bitcoin or Ethereum use, is where there needs to be computers competing to be the first to solve a problem, so prove their work in order for something to happen. So it obviously costs a lot more. So Tezos will have in fact, a much lower transaction cost, and it will have faster confirmation times, which are two big advantages of Tezos.
Tezos also uses on-chain governance rather than being a fork-based network, so it can innovate very easily and not run into fork complications. One example of a hard fork was Ethereum, classic from Ethereum.
Yes, and furthermore, smart contracts on Tezos are much simpler and require lower level computing expertise compared to many other cryptocurrencies which do the same thing. This is as there have been several smart contract updates since it launched in July 2017 due to its easily evolving utility. So that's one of the big advantages of Tezos.
So overall, what is better about Tezos compared to Ethereum?
So there are three main advantages that we've spoken about. It has lower transaction fees, it's more energy efficient, being a proof of stake network, and it's got its self-amendment feature. This is sort of, I think, actually the best feature that Tezos has, which means change is much easier compared to Ethereum, and therefore it can improve things very fluidly.
But there's more big news on Tezos, which Sham is excited about. Man United has partnered with them.
Announced big news, and I was actually unaware of this until I watched one of the press conferences that the Man United manager Ralph Rangnick had done, and since then I've seen Ronaldo training and having Tezos in big letters in his kit. So let's go through what the story actually says. So on February the 10th, this was announced, and Tezos, as it says, branding will appear on the uniform worn by the soccer team while warming up before matches, starting with their home game against Southampton. The contract is in excess of £20 million a year. And also, the club also plan to introduce several fan experiences built on the Tezos blockchain. They may include minting of non-fungible tokens, and then it goes on to say that Tezos partnered with McLaren to build an NFT platform, listing tokens that illustrate the team's history and heritage. So Man United are a massive club, and the fact that Tezos have got a sponsor with Man United means that there will be several people who will be watching football and you're getting a glimpse of Tezos on them. So first of all, that shows credibility of the cryptocurrency because it's seen by so many people. But also it means that the fact that they're using so much of their funding means that they believe in what they're doing. You can tell that they wouldn't be spending that much on the cryptocurrency if they didn't believe that what they were doing was going to be future relevant. So that's one of the big reasons why I think this is such massive news. Let's also go on to the Tezos website to look at the stats and facts page. So it tells you who else Tezos are who else is involved with Tezos. So Red Bull, Racing Honda, McLaren, Ubisoft. So there's already so many massive brands who are part of Tezos, and who are using the Tezos blockchain. So this shows you that there's already so much use, and that will expand as time goes by. Once companies and other cryptocurrencies realize that actually Tezos is a great DeFi platform.
So going back to the three rules we mentioned, does it have a 10-time potential?
Yeah, so definitely I think that Tezos will actually grow in the future, and can it grow by 10x from where it is right now? Certainly it can, because it's still small market cap compared to a lot of the larger cryptocurrencies. So I definitely think it has a 10x potential, and the partnerships with Man United shows you what direction they want to go into.
And is it here to stay? All signs point to it being even bigger in 5 years' time.
Yeah, definitely. I think it is here to stay, and as you said, it does point to it being bigger in 5 years' time, because you wouldn't be paying £20 million over 2 years just for jokes. So yeah, it's definitely a long-proof cryptocurrency.
And does it have an innovative team?
Yeah, and so as we spoke about the cryptocurrency, the way that Tezos is built, that you can innovate very efficiently, unlike some of the other cryptocurrencies. So the way the team have built the cryptocurrency means that it can be easily adapted and it's sort of future-proofed in a way. So yeah, I think it's got an innovative team, and it's built for long-term change and long-term adaptation of cryptocurrency.
Initially, the price of Tezos was $3.9. Then in 2018, it faced a big drop down towards $0.3.
Yeah, and that's when the whole crypto market was quite suffering quite a bit. Since then, you've seen like a very volatile coin. You see its sort of ups and downs, but if you were to draw a line, it's sort of been heading back up, and it headed all the way up to about over $8 in April of 2021. But since then, you've seen a bit of a downwards movement, and recently, due to external pressures in the crypto and stocks market, there's been more downwards movement. So we think it's a good opportunity with the current price it's at. So to conclude, Tezos we think could be better than Ethereum, and if it's utilized correctly, we think it could be massive. It's got massive sponsors, and we think that it's got a platform to help innovation and could be one of the biggest cryptocurrencies in the future. And due to that, we have picked it as our crypto pick of the month.
So Sean, what's happening now in Russia?
So Russia, Putin, it seems like, wants to go to war in Ukraine, and due to that, it's caused massive shocks in investments and in investment portfolios.
So I heard he's planning to take over parts of Ukraine.
Yeah, so it seems like he wants to sort of split Ukraine into two bits. One which he believes should be part of Russia. There's news evolving today. He had a press conference today about it, and it looks like all intentions are for war, and that's what Biden and Boris Johnson are also saying. So it seems like the fear of Russia going to war is incredibly high, and I read somewhere that there's probably about an 85% chance that he will go to war now.
Okay. It's quite a funny thing because this usually happens in the 19th century, where leaders want to take over land.
Yeah, it's very, very unusual. You don't see this sort of play happening in the modern era. You wouldn't have expected this to happen, but it seems like Putin is very and I don't know what the term of nationalistic. He wants what he believes is Russia's right, and he wants to stamp a bit of power there. So he's clearly heading that way.
Do you think this will be the start of World War III?
I hope not. That would be quite bad, because it would be quite detrimental towards to sort of surrounding countries. If he's just focusing on Ukraine, then fine, that might not be too bad. But if he then goes and expands elsewhere, then we could be in for a lot of trouble.
So what effect will this have on cryptocurrencies and stock?
So you've already seen this. So the Nasdaq has actually dropped about 6 to 7%. That's already been priced in, and I've read somewhere that it could drop another 7 to 8% if the war goes ahead, or even more. And with crypto, you can see that there's been a massive drop already. So a lot of the war has already been priced in, but it could be double the damage if they go to war. In terms of how it will have an impact, if there's a direct war with Ukraine, it'll impact the oil prices, which means that in an economy where inflation is already very high, it means that inflation will be even higher, and that will obviously cause more pressure on stocks and for central banks to increase interest rates, and that's the problem it poses in the longer term. But I think a lot of the impact has already been priced in, and therefore I think we probably will see a massive dip, but then probably quite a quick comeback, as we do see when countries do go to war in the past. But it's one to be seen, and maybe we can do another video to talk a bit once we've done a bit more research, to talk a bit about what the cause of war will mean for equities.
Okay guys, that's all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to us if you haven't already.
Yeah, thanks for listening, and we will be back very soon. Thanks.